Good evening, everybody. Let me see, what time is it? It's 7:20 and it's Thursday the 15th of June. Gosh, I got that right. I want to take you for a little walk this evening along what is called in permaculture the fertile edge. And this property, as you know from having read the blog and looked at previous videos, is approximately 3 acres in size, and it's rectangular, and the cottage, Bealtaine Cottage, sits at the back of the property on a little hill within the property. It's all north facing. So I'm going to walk almost directly now from the back door up to where the fence is, and that is the fertile edge, or one of the 4 fertile edges here. So just going to stop momentarily and show you how things are growing. As you can see, they're growing very well. Fabulous roses there. They're wild roses, Rosa canina. And Vonnegut about to flower. Absolutely masses and masses of flowers in the cotoneaster. You see? Goes right back up there. Masses of roses. This is a rambling rose, so it's going right up through the trees. In fact, it goes right up there onto that beech tree. So we're still walking in more or less a straight line. We're going up the little steps, and there's London Pride on either side of the steps. Taking a wee bit of a turn here, and then going straight on. So, this is the fertile edge. Little robin up there in the clothesline. So the fence, let's see, it's just there. Can you see the fence posts? That's the fence. So we're going to walk from west, which is here, to east, which is directly that way. Before we go over towards the eastern corner of the property, just want to show you what's happening here in the orchard. So got some lovely forsythia here. Sorry, fuchsia. All the fruit trees are doing very well this year. Lots of fruit. As you can see. More apple trees down there. Cherry tree. Got a few cherries on that. There was a lot of blossom on this tree, but didn't get all the cherries that were promised. Little pear tree that's still making its way towards some kind of adulthood. Got some valerian herb here. Got some beautiful Cordata fulvida, which is a bit like a pampas grass, but much more stronger and rigorous. And you can see the mint, chocolate mint, euphorbia, roses, sweet Joe Pye. This is a Native American herb, sweet Joe Pye. And in there we've got a nice big cordyline, a big palm. Okay, so we'll walk on down now towards the back of the property and the fertile edge. Just stopping en route to show you my kindling store. Lots of kindling being gathered there. Coming along here, you see the cottage through the trees. Just pause here. Jack, come here. I think he sees a sheep maybe up there. Okay, so you have your bearings now. You know which way we're going. So, in here, across the little ditch is zone 5, the wild zone, the fertile edge. And you can see lots of cleavers in here, lots of nettles, ground elder, planted some laurel and some box, cow parsley, bluebells going to seed in there, lots of ferns, and what else can I see in there? Sorrel. I'll go along this little path now, and you can see the ditches on the left. Planted these little slips of box which are fast turning into a nice little hedge. Coming along this path. Of course, you know where this path leads. Excuse me. It leads up to the stone circle. We just look over again into the fertile edge, and you can see absolutely a massive elderflower. Stunning, stunning altogether this year. Actually, this year has seen a real profusion of flowers and berries, and just a massive amount of abundance. I don't know if any of you have noticed that, but the hedgerows, the wild areas seem to be doing very well. This is the first year that I've actually noticed I've got a wild rose, a Rosa canina, growing up through that little blackthorn. So that seems to have come up from nowhere. Here's Sammy Bear coming with us, just after feeding him. So we go along here. And I've planted some trees into the fertile edge. You can see I've planted a pear tree there. It's a pear. Willow and sycamore, more sycamore. And on the other side of the bank you can see how tall the fuchsia has grown. And of course the animals love to get playful, especially around the stone circle. So here you can see I've put a little walnut tree in there, lots of spirea. Little ash trees are coming up now on their own, which is lovely, because I did a lot of chop and drop in here over the course of the late winter, and that was just to give space to other plants coming up. So a lot of the brambles were chopped and dropped, and a lot of the blackthorn. And I put in slips, you can see here, of blackcurrant, spirea, just to edge this path, to kind of make a little walkway. Because I find that within the style of gardening that I do, the style of growing, Goddess Permaculture, I don't actually go and dig anything. There's no digging happens here. And I also don't move anything. It's only when I'm ready to plant into an area will I go in and do chop and drop. And that way you're continually feeding the earth. You're continually building up that fertility. There's Sammy, he's got a big mark on his forehead. I think it's oil or something from a car. He's a mucky little beggar. Do you know he never cleans himself? Look at the state of him. Little vagabond. Come on, bear cat. Oh, don't be meowing at me. So you can see as well, there's a lot of meadowsweet, and this is just beginning now to bud. So we're going to have lots of flowers there. So I'm going to be drying the meadowsweet this year, because the meadowsweet tea is beautiful during the winter. There's the bear cat. So the stone circle is here in the fertile edge, the wild edge, which is quite appropriate for it, because It's sort of a private little place. It's cut off from the rest of the land. It's cut off by the ditch, which is down there. And so it's quite private. And the animals do love to come up here. It's, I think it's got quite a good energy. Well, obviously a good energy, you know, but there's a little bit of sort of wild energy going on here. I mean, you can see just in the way the animals are playing. This is where they always seem to play, either here or on the driveway. So it's either here in the stone circle or the cottage lane, you know, coming up to the cottage. So that's where I would expect energy to flow, and so expect to see the animals much more playful. And so it's quite surprising then to come into this area, and especially the stone circle. But then circles do have that kind of potency, that way of sort of capturing energy. And I'm sure you felt that when you've gone into stone circles, if you visited Ireland or England, Scotland, Wales, northern France, where these stone circles are. There's an energy which sort of conjures up a lightness of spirit. That's probably the best way of describing it from my point of view. It conjures a lightness of spirit, and of course we all know when the spirit is light, the energy is at its highest and perhaps purest. So on the edge of the stone circle we have black currants, a sweet chestnut tree which is growing exceptionally well. Never expected that to grow here in the west of Ireland. Little bridge going across the ditch there, which takes you on down to the lunacy garden and the polytunnel. As you can see, there's a lot of cutting back to do here. This is how it goes towards Midsummer. There's this amazing surge of energy just rises up out of the earth, and there's just some amazing growth happens. It gets chaotic, but of course it's not chaotic. It's all just incredibly joyful. So we'll walk on just a little bit further. There's a little hidden corner around here, which Sammy Bear is kind of leading us to. Come on, Sammy. Mushta, mushta, mushta. Oh, stop meowing. He's having a little moan look. Oh, no, there he goes. So, come on, come on. He's been a real bear cat now. So this is the little corner. The brambles are growing thick and fast. You wouldn't think I was up here just a short while ago, just a few weeks ago, cutting back. In fact, I think I actually brought the video camera into this area fairly recently. So just on the periphery you've got this incredible big ash tree, which is one of the sacred trees within the Celtic tree lore. Look at that, isn't that just amazing? Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely incredible, forceful, yet very powerful and peaceful energy just under this tree. It's, look, you can see I have a little chair here, and there's a tree stump that I've put upright. So if I do want to escape into a little secret area, then this is where I come. And of course I don't escape for long, because as you can see, Sammy Bear, especially Sammy Bear and Jack, seek me out. They know where I am, and they come along just for the sheer joy of it. So that's the corner there I'm pointing the camera up to, and you can see there's there's remnants of an old stone building up there. That would have been another cottage, because at one point, of course, this little hill at Ballyfermoyle was vastly inhabited. You know, there was, I don't know how many families lived here, but a neighbour told me an old neighbour who lived across the road, who's since passed. She told me that at Christmas time, the whole hill would be lit up with everyone burning a candle in the window of their cottage, and it was Christmas Eve that they did this, which is an old Irish tradition. So again, it's the midwinter light, and that relationship between the past and the present, and all those old traditions would have been sort of woven into the fabric of Christianity and the spiritual practices of the day. But it goes back much, much further. So it's the Wild Edge, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm just going to walk on a little bit. I'm going to walk back, actually, and that's always a good thing to do because it gives you the perspective on the way back. So here we go. So, I don't know if you've seen the post I put up on Twitter and the post I put on Facebook. I got a letter from the Irish Revenue, which is the Irish tax department, the government tax department, that I was absolutely thrilled about. Not often you get a letter from the tax people that one is thrilled about, but it was a letter from them acknowledging the fact that I'm now accepted within the regions of government and revenue as a writer. And as a writer, I now have a tax-free status, which I don't know if it applies to any other country, but certainly here in Ireland, writers and artists get a tax status where they're allowed to earn up to €50,000 a year before having to pay tax. And that would be obviously, you know, from the sale of books or paintings or sculptures, whatever is involved within the arts, you know, music, etc. So I was just so delighted to get that. Yes, it is going to help out in terms of having to pay tax, although I still will pay tax because any other earnings, of course, are taxable. But just the fact that I was acknowledged by my government as being a writer, I just felt very overwhelmed, you know. It was a very emotional day for me there yesterday. So I thought I'd share that with you. Good news. I've been hoping for that outcome for some time, and it was after obviously a thorough overhaul of manuscripts and things that they decided that they made that decision. So here we go. So we've come down the other way. We went up the little steps before, and we've come down through this little pathway which takes us under the twisted willow tree. And here's little Beauty. Hello, darling. She's just the pettiest little pet. And she's getting into a little bit of a playful mood too. It is an observation of mine as well that towards midsummer animals do become quite excited and high and sometimes in quite volatile moods. Usually, you know, good volatile moods. But she's been sleeping for a lot of the day because I ran out of cat food. Well, I say I ran out of cat food. I had lots and lots of cat biscuits, but she won't eat them. So I went out just about an hour ago and I got her some of her special cat food. Yes, I know, I spoil her, but wouldn't you? I mean, she's gorgeous. And you know, it's nice to spoil to spoil those you love, whatever sentient being or beings they are. So, a final little look now, just at the Cottage bed. I'll just pop on my glasses so I can direct the camera. So we've got a pumpkin there in a bottomless pot. Got some lovely broccoli coming on there. I think it's broccoli, yeah, it's broccoli. And there. Of course, this is one of the Cottage beds. Lots of beautiful lettuce and celery. And we've got lots of peas happening there as well. More lettuce. It's looking good. Beans haven't done very well at all. So I've all but given up on the beans. In a way, I think what I've done actually is I've sacrificed them to the slugs, because each time I come out the slugs were on the beans, and I thought, well, they're not on anything else, so they can have them. So the kale is doing magnificently. Let me just go around the other side so you can see. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So, and the courgettes over there, looking good. Now, of course, I've got lots of food growing over in the tunnel, but I'm not going over to the tunnel now. I want to go inside and load up this video, get it up onto YouTube, and make a cup of tea, I think.